Oh man. Okay, so Bitcoin. People have been asking me about Bitcoin. Bitcoin. When I talk about Bitcoin, I'm not only referring to Bitcoin, I'm also referring to all the cryptocurrencies. My thinking, bottom line, is that they're in a bubble. And this bubble is going to pop. Now, it's going to pop badly. And it's going to go from whatever it is now. Bitcoin is at $17,000 and change. It's going to go from 17,000 to 2,000, if not less, possibly zero. I don't know when this is going to happen. It is going to happen. There is no doubt in my mind that there is going to be the Wile E. Coyote moment. You know how Wile E. Coyote goes. He's chasing the Roadrunner, and then he winds up running off a cliff, and he runs off the cliff, and he's running on nothing but air, and then all of a sudden he realizes, and he's like, Bitcoin is going to have its Wile E. Coyote moment. It is inevitable, okay? And I'm going to explain why. First of all, people who say that I don't know anything about Bitcoin, I first heard about Bitcoin in 2010. I understand Bitcoin, I understand the notion of the blockchain, I understand the notion of Bitcoin mining and the process by which new Bitcoin is created. I understand it very, very clearly. In 2011, I had the opportunity to buy a block of 2,000 Bitcoin at $5 a pop. I did not buy Bitcoin at $5 a pop in 2011, and my thinking then is the same thinking that I have today. What purpose does Bitcoin serve? Bitcoin is supposed to be a currency? Okay, fine. What good or service will accept Bitcoin and only Bitcoin and nothing but Bitcoin? Please tell me. What good or service is Bitcoin a necessary and sufficient condition in order to acquire? That's the question. Because you see, in every other asset class, be it stocks, bonds, real estate, commodities, when you buy that asset class, you are buying something with an actual purpose. For instance, if I buy a share in General Electric, what is General Electric? It's a company. And what does this company do? It manufactures different products, jet engines and refrigerators and a whole host of different products. And it takes these products and sells them in the open market, right? If I buy a share of General Electric, I am buying a piece of General Electric. If I buy a bond, I'm buying a debt obligation, right? That's what a bond is. A debt obligation, somebody emits a bond and I buy that bond, and that means that that somebody has to pay me interest and the principal by a certain date. With the real estate, I buy the title of a property, and what does that mean? I have full dominion over that piece of land or that house or apartment or whatsoever it may be, and that full dominion is guaranteed by the rule of law and property rights of whatever country I purchased that piece of property, right? If I buy a commodity, say oil or natural gas or wheat or pork bellies or gold, right? I am buying the commodity, the actual physical thing. When you buy Bitcoin, what are you buying? You're buying a virtual currency. Yeah, okay, fine. But what's that virtual currency good for? What can I buy with Bitcoin that I cannot buy with dollars or pounds or euros or yen or yuan? You see, that's the question that people talking about Bitcoin have to answer, and they can't answer that question. You see? And so I realized what Bitcoin is. Bitcoin is tulips. In the 17th century, in Holland, tulips were introduced. Now, tulips, of course, are very pretty flowers, very colorful flowers. People in Holland love their tulips, and so they started buying more tulips. And as they bought more tulips, the price of tulips, quite naturally, began to rise. As the price rose, some smart people, greedy people, started thinking to themselves, well, if I buy a lot of tulips and hold on to them for the bit, the price is going to rise, and then I sell them, and I'm going to make a profit, right? So that's what they started to do. They would buy a bunch of tulips, wait for the price to rise, and then sell them. And soon enough, more people got into the game, into the mania. It was fueled by greed. As they started getting into tulips and buying more and more tulips, and the price going up and up and up, it fed into itself. And more people started getting into tulips. And it got to a point where a single tulip sold for the same price as a house, which is insane. Imagine a single flower selling for $150,000. That's crazy, right? What does that remind you of? Bitcoin. Bitcoin is selling for $17,000 and change. You know, just a few years ago, it was worth pennies. And here we are at $17,000 and it's going up and up and up. Who's buying this shit? You know, they're talking about it on CNN, they're talking about it on The View, they're talking about it all over the place. All the mainstream media is talking about is Bitcoin, 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 or other cryptocurrencies, right? What does that tell you? It's a mania, and who's getting into it now? The dumb money. The dumb money is getting into it. Now, who are the dumb money? They're the people who aren't very sophisticated, aren't very thoughtful, and they just see that everybody else is getting into Bitcoin and they don't want to miss the boat. They don't realize that the boat is sinking. So they're buying it because other people are buying it, and they're greedy and they're stupid. And so that's why they're buying it. Me? No. I would not have bought in 2011 Bitcoin or today for the same reason. There is nothing that you need Bitcoin to buy. No good, no service. If I'd had a crystal ball and, you know, looking into that crystal ball, realized that by 2017, those 2,000 Bitcoins that I could have bought at $10,000 would be worth today something like $35 million. Well, yeah, of course I would have bought them, of course, okay? But I didn't have a crystal ball, I only had my brain. It could potentially rise to $40,000 a pop. Hey, it could potentially rise to $1 million a pop. Potentially, sure, okay? Enough hysteria, enough greed could potentially push Bitcoin all the way to $1 million a pop. But the same rules apply. There is no need to have Bitcoin as a currency because it's not backed by anything, because it doesn't represent anything, because it doesn't have any purpose, okay? So, look, you're a grown-up, you're watching me here. I mean, if you're watching this, you're sophisticated enough and grown up enough to know more or less what Bitcoin is about and potentially have the money to invest in it. Don't invest in it. It's just foolish. It's just stupid. And it's going to pop. And let me ask you, do you want to be the Wile E. Coyote of the market?